I've got two stories for you guys today. One, Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendes talks about a potential Colby versus Islam fight. Two, Jake Paul-Nate Diaz rematch update. Islam Makhachev's coach Javier Mendes recently commented on Islam fighting Colby Covington. He mentioned Colby talking about Dagestani wrestling versus American wrestling. Javier said he believes Islam would win if he fought Colby. Here's the clip.
And Colby's already started some really cool stuff, Dagestani wrestling versus American wrestling. And all I gotta say is, you gotta pay attention to these Dagestanis in the wrestling, buddy, because they are world class, and they have world class wrestlers in training with them, so day in, day out. So like for instance, one of Islam's wrestling partner and that's training with him all the time is the individual that beat Kyle Dake, who was one of the great American wrestlers who won a national title in 4 weight divisions. No one's ever really done that ever in the U.S. wrestling history. And Kyle Dake is one of the top, and this guy beat Kyle 10-0. So I'm not saying, anything can happen in another match, but I'm just saying that's how good the Dagestanis are, and Habib's crew is on wrestling. They are just phenomenal wrestlers. And again, MMA is not wrestling either. So, it's just like, Hamzat, who would you ever thought that Kamaru's credentials are far superior to Hamzat as far as wrestling credentials, right? But why was he able to be taken down? Because it's not wrestling. And a lot of people need to understand, it's not wrestling. This is MMA. And when, remember Habib fought Justin Gaethje, everybody was telling me, well, Habib, how's he going to take him? I go, man, it's like, I don't care who you are. If you're doing MMA, Habib's a master at taking you down in his weight division. And that's what I'm saying that. I'm not saying wrestling versus wrestler. That's different. But MMA-wise, these guys are masters at it. So I would love Colby and Islam because there's already talk there. But let's see what happens. First of all, Colby has to win. Second, the UFC has to want it. And third, but I think the win, like you guys, I think Islam does want it.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, because I know you're not a matchmaker. I was going to ask you sort of like who intrigues you the most. It sounds like you're actually leaning towards Colby, which, by the way, phenomenal fight. I'd love to see it. It's going to be USA wrestling versus either Dagestani wrestling or mountain wrestling, depending on the marketing. But you're going to Islam, the Shemaira, I like it either way.
Nate Diaz posted this on Twitter, implying a potential Jake Paul rematch. He says, rematch with the scared. A couple of days later, Jake Paul posted this on his Twitter, dialed in December 15th. This tweet, however, was not for Nate Diaz. Jake's promotion, Most Valuable Promotions, confirmed he will not be fighting Nate Diaz, and his opponent appears to be unknown at this stage. Jake's promotion said, for the record, Jake Paul will not be boxing Nate Diaz again. Nate Diaz and Jake Paul have received an offer from PFL MMA to rematch in MMA in the Smart Cage. Jake Paul has accepted the offer. That's all for this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure you subscribe and hit the bell icon so you can get notified for all future videos. Thanks for watching.